Paris, the city of romance, is very good at selling a fantasy. And we all come to the city with a version of it already in our heads. My ideal Parisian day involves a picnic by the Seine with my college friend Maggie, or a quiet bowl of pho alone at sunset, by the Seine of course. But I'm here to work, so I leave the Seine behind. I want to learn about Vietnamese cooking in France, how the two cuisines have become interlaced through decades of colonization, and then again from the influx of South Vietnamese refugees after the Vietnam War. France was the first Western country where Vietnamese migrants settled. How did one of the largest Vietnamese communities outside of Asia change the way Parisians eat? And what does their cuisine look and taste like today? At Michelin-starred mom from Hanoi in the trendy Sentier district, Tuyet Nqan Bui makes what many swear is the best bowl of pho in Paris. That's what Aurore Nguyen, a food influencer and unofficial voice for the thriving Vietnamese culinary community, thinks. And she's brought me here to sample Chef Nguyen's version of the slow-simmered beef soup. The elegant broth feels akin to a classic French stock, but the spices and herbs tell an unmistakably Vietnamese story. The interior evokes a colonial past, but the cooking at Mom is anything but. Chef Nguyen, who trained at L'École du Casse, makes pho that belongs at the very center of Parisian dining. What makes Mom the undisputed best pho in Paris?
I think they understood that when you make a very simple dish like pho, you need to have the higher quality to have a perfect broth. Also the meat, for me a good meat has to melt in your mouth. So for the meat, they take it from the Boucherie-Nivernaise, which is the same butcher as the Élysée from the president. So it means that Mr. Macron is eating the same meat as we do. Nguyen, who is coming from this family from the north, she really wanted to share this nostalgia, this memory of what is a perfect pho for her. What I like here is that you will see that the broth is quite rich. And Nguyen, she went to a cooking school in France, so I think that there she understood the importance of the quality of the ingredients. She used this knowledge into the Vietnamese cuisine, and for me this is what it makes so special. It's a kind of modernized approach of Vietnamese food.
So this is what we would call a spring roll, right?
The Vietnamese name is either nem in the north or chai in the south. The outside is a rice paper, and here is super thin. You can see that they only put one layer, and it's super crispy. And inside you have a perfect balance between vegetables and meat. So you have some carrots, you have some radish, you have some mushrooms, you have some noodles. And the meat is ground pork. And I think that they really managed to find the perfect mix. You can grab some lettuce, and then you can put some herbs. So here you have mint, you have coriander, and then you can take the nem and roll it. Now you have this younger generation of Vietnamese people who are doing things differently, who don't really want to have a very cheap food, but more qualitative. And I think it's the best way to give another image of what Vietnamese food can look like.
She's so young, and when you think of pho, you always think of grandma's cooking. For some reason I do.
Yeah.
Because it's such a comforting dish. It's replaced, the so-called chicken noodle soup. Whenever I'm feeling down or the weather's cold, I just crave a big steaming bowl of pho.
Yeah, well, for me, what is very appealing is that when the bowl arrives, you have all this bubble of fat on the surface.
It's very beefy.
Yes.
And I love the fat content of it. This is
it's like pickled garlic.
And do I put it into the pho? Or
yes,
do I...
you can.
It does melt your mouth. You don't even have to chew.
Yes.
And tell me about the rice noodles.
In Vietnam, people like to have rice noodles that really melt in your mouth.
Oh, really?
So they should glide. You should have this kind of silky texture. In the streets of Hanoi, from like 6 a.m., streets become very busy, and people eat pho for breakfast. Yeah, I love that it's a very humble dish, but they really pushed it to make it the most perfect possible.
Coffee ranks with pho and bánh mì as an icon of Vietnamese cuisine. Parisians know their way around a cafe, but Vietnamese coffee is often misunderstood, seen as cheap, bitter, or too strong. Nguyen is changing that at Hanoi Correr, his coffee shop in the Marais, carefully sourcing his Robusta beans from Vietnam and roasting them in Paris. He's blending French and Vietnamese traditions for a growing local audience. How did you learn all the tricks and techniques of being a barista?
I've learned in France about specialty coffee. So we learn about the bean, about the techniques. I've learned in the Vietnam how to make coffee. So I mix a bit of everything I've learned to make my own way.
Vietnam is actually the world's second largest producer of coffee. So it's amazing that you're showing that brand and that culture here in Paris.
Yeah, we're trying our best to make people discover something different from Vietnam, because there used to be always the same kind of Vietnamese restaurants. And when we started, we wanted people to see something different from Vietnam. So we were making the first Vietnamese coffee shop. It starts with the bean. We are using Vietnamese coffee bean, so we are bringing green coffee to Paris. So we are roasting it.
How have people reacted to your coffee? I mean, you're here in the heart of the Marais. There's so many Parisians and tourists alike. What has the reaction been to your coffee?
One of the best way that I have as a reaction, they were saying that just by having a cup of coffee, they felt they were going to Vietnam.
Really?
So that's the things we are trying to focus, quality on the coffee bean, on the way of making it. But in the end, we want people to feel like they've been to Vietnam. And that's the way we like people to feel. We're gonna take the Vietnamese filter, and I like to weight my coffee. We like to use 15 grams of coffee. This is the coffee which is our main coffee, because this one is very easy to use for having the coffee which is very iconic in Vietnam with condensed milk. So when we are using condensed milk, we want a coffee which is not too fruity, not too acidic. We want a coffee which is on dark chocolate flavor. Some coffee in it. Coffee here. So
wow, it's so chocolatey.
Yeah, that's the kind of flavor we're looking in Vietnam.
This is a relatively new phenomenon that Vietnamese coffee is becoming popular here.
I think people like to discover new things, so there's more and more different coffee shop, Vietnamese coffee shop. In Vietnam, coffee place are places to hang out with people, to meet people. I think being in between two cultures, you are trying to take the best of everything or trying to find your own way. So I think I'm a little different. So
you're an ambassador that bridges these two cultures in a way.
Yeah, I think like there's things which are in between too, like the bánh mì spawned with French baguette, with Vietnamese cuisine, something in the beginning that was different. Here on this way of making coffee in Vietnam, there's a lot of coffee flavor.
Yes, it's so robust.
It's like strong and bold and funky.
Yes.
And
there's no acidity to it.
Yeah,
like you said.
That's it.
Right, I love it. Take a French baguette, split it open, add pickled vegetables, pâté, and fresh herbs. If you're looking for a single object that explains the French-Vietnamese relationship, this might be it. Chef Tran Ding, who does banh mi pop-ups around Paris, takes an almost stubbornly artisanal approach to the iconic sandwich and makes everything from scratch. I meet him at Café, a popular Vietnamese cafe. What kind of baguette are you looking for?
For the banh mi, there are so many ingredients and things going in, so many layers of flavors, so the bread is just kind of an envelope. Finding the balance between all these layers, for me, is the most difficult part in the banh mi, and this is what is really exciting, because you can have like separate very good preps, but if all together they don't work, the magic, doesn't happen. I grew up in their kitchen, eating like homemade Vietnamese food every day. Yeah.
Did you always know you wanted to be a chef?
No, actually, when I was younger, and it's like the typical Vietnamese history. You have to help your parents in their restaurant during the weekend, and I was looking at them, and I found it was a super hard job. And when I moved to Paris to study and just to live alone, I missed their food. I started to cook for myself, to go by myself to the restaurants with my parents, to cook with them, to work with them, to learn. This is the chicken liver pâté. I mix also with some pork meat, pork floss made of pork filet mignon. The Vietnamese mortadella, as we call it, like the chalo. And here, this is like ham, marinated in some spice and cooking wine. Usually we start with the mayonnaise. So you see, you have this like crumbly crust, and you see it's like a very light baguette. And you see, in terms of taste, it's quite neutral. So the chicken liver pâté. So yeah, in the mayonnaise, I like to put some lemon zest, because I want to like strengthen this, this kind of freshness. The pork floss. Sometimes there are so many ingredients I don't know how to build it. So the pork floss, and then I'm putting like the pork belly roll. So this is my homemade magie. So we were talking about like the French techniques, and this is like a really French way of making a jus de viande. It's just like it's slightly less reduced than a classic jus de viande.
Why did you choose to make everything from scratch?
I think it's kind of it's just like for the challenge and for myself, so I can say, oh, everything is made from scratch. So I'm putting like the pickles and then fresh cucumbers. I finish with coriander, the fresh. We say in the US we say cilantro or coriander. I don't forget. So this is like a red chili, which is really strong, but I like to pickle it and to sweeten it also to make it like more gentle. I would say like the banh mi, I think it's the strongest like symbol of the fusion of the French and Vietnamese culture.
Did you go to any banh mi experts or masters to learn the craft?
I learned in Vietnam how to make the chicken liver pâté, even if my mom knows how to make it, but I wanted to have different versions. Because as a Vietnamese kid, your mom is always the best cook.
I think that every bite really furthers your understanding of a banh mi because you're tasting different things.
It's a very interesting quest, to achieve a good banh mi. And actually, my dream is to be a classic. I want to be to contribute to the city. I want to be like a classic banh mi in Paris. When people will say, I want a banh mi, where should I go? Where should we go? We should go at MInh, And I want to be like a classic.
This is hands down the best banh mi I've ever had.
Oh, thank you.
At Café, I'm joined by friends and by pastry chef Anthony Ning for a conversation about another French institution, pastry. Pastries are national treasures that for a long time reflected a very narrow idea of who France was for. MInh is quietly widening that frame. He folds pandan into croissants and reimagines classics, weaving his Vietnamese heritage into the fabric of French pâtisserie.
My roots are from Vietnam, and basically I was born here, and I grown up with this flavor, but I wasn't aware of it. I was like, okay, it's green, it's good. I don't know the name, you know? So it's been 5 years that I know how to do it. So I want to share it with the French people.
What is pandan exactly?
Pandan is like, it's a plant, exotic plant that grows in the southeast of Asia. They use it to aromatize, let's say, all the pastry, the cream, the ice cream, and everything. So it's quite sweet, and the flavor is quite, universal, let's say.
I've seen pandan on so many menus
Yeah.
in Paris. When did it become so popular?
It's not yet popular, So I'm trying to make it popular. So this is the fusion of the French savoir-faire and the Vietnamese dessert. So this is a banana cream, let's say. Put some banana in it. A little bit more. We put this tapioca coconut milk inside of it. And then we finish it with the banana. Don't forget the peanuts. So you put the confit de figue, this cooked fig. Then we put the pandan cream in it. And we put the fresh fig.
I used to work in an ice cream shop, and
Really?
if I liked the customer, I would fill
A little bit more.
the ice cream. I would fill the entire cone. But then if I didn't like the customer, I knew how to swirl, so it just appeared on the edge of the cone. For your palates, is it not sweet enough?
No, it's perfect. It's perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're working as a chef or a pastry chef or a cooker, it's the most important thing is not to be sure, not to be too confident. Just make it like it's the first time every time. I think it's when you work in this industry, you need to be kind. You need to be authentic. But mostly you need to be in the service of the people,
That's the whole point. Our parents were like, we need to assimilate to this country, otherwise we will go back to our country where we didn't have any money. So now you have to assimilate. But now the second generation, third generation are like, okay, the assimilation is cool, but it's okay also to be yourself and to show it to the world. And this is like the peak to me of everything in Paris. Like this is perfection to me.
Well, I think that you won here because we're called the Clean Plate Club.
The Clean Plate Club, okay. I don't even consider it like a job, It's like my goal is to make people happy.
The heart of the Vietnamese community in Paris still lies in a section of the 13th arrondissement with the catch-all name of Chinatown, even though the majority of the businesses and residents are Vietnamese. Aurore has brought me here to see an earlier, still thriving generation of merchants.
So we are in the heart of Chinatown, which is the 13th district of Paris. And so here we are at the intersection between Avenue d'Ivry and Rue Baudricourt, so it's the really heart of Chinatown.
I love how hot pot restaurants are popping up everywhere, but this one is actually referred to as a fondue shop. So even though it's called Chinatown, it's really a Vietnamese community here?
Yes, it's actually more Southeast Asian, so you have more Vietnamese, Laotian, Cambodian, and Thai.
Tell me about the Vietnamese community in Paris.
When I was a child, it was not so easy because I didn't grow in a very Asian environment. So people were mocking me, like treated me in a very mean way. And my parents were very severe, like Asian education. So for me, they were going like backwards. I really rejected my identity until recently. Well, I think that becoming a mom made me think of my roots more because I had my daughters with very French guys, so they have like really white skin, curly hair. They don't look that Asian, but I want them to know that they have a part of them is Asian. So I'm cooking more Asian food at home. I'm trying to bring them here so that they are also open to like a different culture.
Pâtisserie de Choisy, a traditional Vietnamese pastry shop, serves up Cantonese dim sum specialties like bao and custard egg tarts.
So now I'm taking you to one of my favorite places in the 13. It's a pastry shop that has existed forever.
So your bakery has been in Paris for over 4 generations?
Yeah. It's my grandmother and my father, and then it's my son. It's my brother.
Wow. Can I try something?
Yeah,
What's
can
your
you try
favorite?
the moon cake?
Yes, let's try the lotus.
Lotus?
Is your goal here to serve, authentic versions of Asian pastries, or are you adapting it for a French client?
No, I don't adapt in for the French client because I want to continue my grandmother recipe.
Salty, sweet, so rich but moist. It's very good. So I love how your bakery has this mix of Vietnamese and Hong Kong influences. Pandan with strawberries. These seem like a very fusion version of a French dessert.
You have a Chinese sausage, eggs. You have the pork with mushroom, and you have coriander and onion chive. Yeah. This is pâté chaud. It's pâté chaud because the pâté in the French, pâté en croûte.
Cheers! This is really unlike anything I've ever had before. Obviously I've had a lot of baos, but not with these ingredients together. The egg, the Chinese sausage, and then this is the ground pork.
Yes, ground pork.
Flavored with coriander,
Pepper. Yes. But yeah, it's different from the barbecue pork. It's not as sweet. It's more savory.
I prefer this. How is this different from a traditional pâté chaud?
Maybe the pepper and maybe I don't know how they season it, but maybe they put a bit of fish sauce, so it tastes Western but with a little twist.
Founded more than 50 years ago by Kang and Cam Hong Dang, La Tropicale began as a modest grocery, selling tropical fruits like mangoes, coconuts, flavors Paris didn't yet know what to do with. Ice cream came later. When the Dangs retired in 2004, their daughter Tai Tong, who calls herself the nose of the operation, left her job as an economist to take over the business and began creating aromatic profiles of French-Vietnamese flavor combinations the way a parfumier creates fragrances. For herself, according to her mood. Today, her menu includes ice cream degustation courses with Vietnamese flavors like Hanoi Correr's Paris roasted Café Fen Soi Da egg coffee using local dairy and ingredients. It has always been my dream to own an ice cream shop.
Oh, great. So you're at the right place then?
Yes.
My parents created the ice cream parlor in the 70s. And then I took over the business around 2000. And then it took me about 10 years, at least 10 years to mark my own ADN on the ice cream. And now what you have is really something that represents myself. If I go back to my parents' period, it was not the case. When they set up the ice cream shop, it was very important for them that people do not know that they were Vietnamese. What I am is a mix between French and Vietnam. So the ice cream also reflects that. I give this to you, and I give this to you. This one is very nice. It's a sorbet coconut and sticky black rice and durian.
The durian flavor is very mild. in this ice cream.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. I've never thought of having sticky rice in an ice cream either, but it gives it that really nice mochi kind of bite to it.
The ingredients are coming from this dessert. It's just that when you have to interpret it into ice cream, you have to make it different. So everything is here. It's a part of me, but of course it depends on the season, the humor. Humor. The mood. Sorry,
yes.
The mood for this type of moment. I think it's chocolate, the café soda, the Vietnamese one. We start to go into the creamy ice cream mood, but not still fresh.
So, Nqan Mom is
the
fish sauce.
Exactly.
Do you make everything here?
Yes.
Small batch, daily?
Small batch here. Everything is prepared in the kitchen.
I've never had fish sauce ice cream before.
I know.
It's actually super aromatic. I love it with the lime. This is if I close my eyes, this is a perfect kind of palate cleanser.
It helps people to discover Asia in a different way than just names. You have to do what you are. You have to have your own singularity. You have to go very straight away on this way and have your own marks. And then people who are sensible to your work and the way you behave, the way you think, then they just make your community, and that's enough to survive.